Hey everyone, in the last video we discussed about the locator strategy on Playwright, the hierarchy of the locator strategy, what to use when so that we can attain a fast and smoother automation at the end. This video is an extension to that. We are going to discuss about actions, mastering the actions like click, how to check the checkbox. Basically, the 90% of the automation can be achieved with this 20% of the actions that we are going to discuss here. So let's jump into the demo along with the examples. In this Playwright AG20 series, this is the part 3 demo, mastering actions. There are 5 key actions, the 5 commands we are going to use to handle 99% of the user interaction on the website. Number 1 is to fill. For example, if you wanted to fill a text box, use the fill. If you want to click the buttons, use the click. And if you want to check the checkbox like this, you're going to use the check. And select options, if you want to select something from the drop down like this or over here, you're going to use select options. And lastly, press enter. If you don't want to use the click, you can just use the press enter button to activate that button or activate that functionality. So these are the 5 things we are going to learn. This is actually 99% of the user interaction that we do on a day-to-day basis on a web page, if you think about it in your use case. As I mentioned, .fill is the golden standard for input, and the smartest interaction is the click, and the explicit intent for toggles are like check, and then drop-down mastery is select option, and then the keyboard simulation is the enter. So we're going to learn all this in this demo. And firstly, let's understand, before I jump into the Playwright, we are going to do the fresh recording on an Orange website. But before we jump into that, here let's understand what are all this auto wait and other things is about, a little bit theory so that you would understand it better. Firstly, the interaction engine by default has an auto waiting. This Playwright has auto waiting, as we discussed in the previous video as well. What it does is, let's say if you wanted to click on a web page, or let's say if you want to click on a button or click on an object, anything on a website, it has a default auto wait zone where it checks whether it's visible or not, whether it's stable or not, and or whether it's enabled or not, and then only it will click. So you don't need to do an arbitrary sleep on your own. So if you have to explain a little bit deeper, a 5-step actionable check, it is called. Let's say if we want to click the button. For number 1, it gets connected to the DOM, whether it's checked that am I connected to the DOM or not. So if you're connected to the DOM, it checks the checks. It checks that criteria. And then secondly, it checks for visibility. Am I seeing that button, right? Is it visible to me? If it's visible, then yes, that is passed. And then thirdly, stable. Is it stable enough? Or if there is any animated object in front of me, like dancing in front of me or blocking in front of me to click that button. If not, it checks that stable. Then it also looks for enablement. Let's say you have already activated certain button before, so that might block you to click again. So it checks for enabled or disabled. And lastly, actually this is supposed to be the 4th one. So the other criteria is it receives events. If it receives an event, like not obscured by an overlays. Sometimes if you look at the button, you have some overlays in front of you, like some pop-up, and you need to wait for it to disappear before you activate that button. So it looks for all this and then it clicks on the button. So if any check fails, if it times out, right, if it times out even after looking for all this, then you get a timeout error. It never clicks blindly, but there is a solution that you would get at the end of this video to click on it, even though if there are so many obstructions in front of you. Let's discuss that at the end. What it does in terms of the first tool, which is to fill. Okay, let's discuss the fill here. A traditional way of filling is about, let's say you use .type. It enters the letters basically one by one, like HE110. It enters the word one by one. But in Playwright, it just flashes the text within that inbox. So it is very instant and reliable. So it stops typing. So you basically stop typing as well and start filling with .fill. It triggers the event immediately, and it's a golden standard for filling the text boxes. So that's the new way with Playwright. So it won't type, it just copies the text and put it there. And secondly, the click. The click is something on the button most of the time. or maybe the radio buttons as well. Or if you want to click something to activate some other thing, let's say you want to click on an image to activate something else, that also counts here. So if an overlay obstructs the center of an element, Playwright waits for it. It will not click until the overlay disappears. So there is a standard wait that Playwright waits for it. So it won't click and give you a failure, and you don't need to add a pass on your own. So that's about click. And tool number 3 we discussed is the checkbox. So it has the role, get by role, something called checkbox, and then you just give a command like check and it checks the checkbox for you. And this is the other way, other tool that I think you also directly call it like checkbox. I don't think there's any other name for it. So it's just simply like checkbox for most of the website. Some website tweaks it a little bit. You just need to change the term and see if the Playwright has that option. For example, here why I mentioned that is, for example, here the semantic selection, it's a drop down selection. That's tool number 4 we are going to explore here. The get by role here is a combo box. Some website name it as list box or drop down. So the Playwright has different options to it. If you do a record and play, it records by default, but or if you're using Playwright's pick locator option, it will do it on your own automatically, on its own automatically basically. And tool number 5 is the keyboard simulation. Sometimes we have to do the keyboard simulations like enter, or like you can use any keywords here, space bar or letter A, whatever it is. So now let's jump into the demo. Here I have our previous recording, but what I'm going to do a fresh recording and pull all the clicks, all the actions that I mentioned over here. So we discussed about, now I'm going to copy the URL and I'll start the recording. If I go to the record option and click on record new, on the bottom left you can click on record new, and that will open a web page. Let me scroll this down a little bit so that you can see the coding gets added on the background on the IDE. Now if I can paste and hit the URL, you got the command. Let me scroll down a bit here. Yeah, you got the command there. Let me enter the username as mentioned above, admin, and that is Phil. So within few steps within this tidy action, we have covered click and we have covered fill. I'm gonna paste the password or enter the password. So that's done, and I will click on login. So since I already got the login, I'll try the keyboard, enter. Yeah, I'll try pressing the enter key, and you can see press enter. But for this website the enter doesn't work, so I'm going to click this manually. Maybe we'll try the enter somewhere else. Now I'm going to click the admin. Right, so how many actions we covered so far? Like we covered click and fill and press as well. Let me try press again. Now I'm going to enter a name. Let me type John and the drop down. So I'm going to press the drop down and select admin. So let's see what action we got there. So we got the option and the name as admin. That's good. And let me try another drop down, select and enabled. Okay, so that's one way of selecting the option. So it's like option and then enable. First I click and then I select. Also there's another way of doing it, is that you select this one, this particular thing, it has a locator, and then you select it, right? So let's leave the option. Okay, maybe I'll select this as well. Yeah, and then now I press the enter. So here maybe I'll press enter from here. So that is not giving the search again. So we're gonna ignore looking for the results by entering by hitting the enter key. Now I'm going to click on the search. All right, so there is no results here. Now I'm going to try maybe a checkbox, job by title. Let me try the checkbox here. So that's the checkbox, and yeah, I think that's pretty much, we got everything. So we tried click, we tried fill, and we tried press. It can be any keyword, so that should be fine. Now I'm going to close the recording and run. Let's see if this works. It enters the username password and it logs in, and then it's waiting for, so here it waits for the login button, but let me, I don't know why. I see. Okay, so it's a very good example. You see what I did? I entered username and password, but then again I clicked on enter. In the recording, I think in the recording window, the enter key doesn't work, but it actually accepts that and logged me in, so I don't need to click again because it already entered. So that's a very good example. It fulfilled our purpose. Now I'm going to get rid of, I think then it will also work on the search. Yes, it will work on the search as well because I clicked enter. So where I'm clicking it, I'm pressing enter there, so I don't need a click here. So let me remove the click because I'm already entering an enter key there. I'm already pressing the enter key there, right? So now let's explore where else we are clicking on enter. So here you see we are clicking enter. I don't think we need to click on search again. Let me remove that, or let's wait, it will fail. That's a good testing. I'm going to run, enter username and password. Now we are in the website and I'm clicking on admin and I'm trying all that and it works. Where it waits, let's see. Yes, it passed. So I think here why it works is that I click on enter and it gives the search, and then I click, we have an option to click on search again. That's why it passed. Whereas here, once you logged in, that button no longer visible for to the user, so you cannot click on it. So that's the difference. That's the difference actually. So now moving back to our PPT, let's understand what we discussed. Right, where were we? So till here we discussed, we now successfully demoed how this works, right? So we understood how click works and we filled the text box and we use the enter key to activate the button, and we also did select using the select option, like option and what you want to select from that option. We also covered that. Here the one thing I wanted to mention is that it can be an option, it can be a checkbox, sorry, it can be an option or it can be a combo box, whatever it is. In our case, it is an option, right? It is not a combo box. So this differs as per the website. So the drop down, that's what I wanted to clarify. So sometimes the word differs, but on a whole, everything is the same. Now let's move ahead with this PPT, a final closure of this demo. The escape hatch is, so as I promised at the start of this video, what is the escape hatch? Let's say you have something that obstructs your button, right? We use force true. Okay, when you use force true, even there is something overlaps the button, it will still click that button. Okay, it will still activate that button. It could be a checkbox, it could be a drop down option, it will perform an action for you. But the only catch here is you should not use this when you know that you don't want to click on it when there is an overlay, right? You should not do that, but you can very well do that. Sometimes the application is flaky and you don't want to wait for those things to go ahead. Just use force true, that will activate. So how to do that? You just click on this click option and open a flow bucket and force true. So the Copilot gives that option so fast, so it makes my job easy. So force true, so that's the one you should use. And now this is button, we used force true. How about the checkbox? A checkbox may also have something in front of it, or sometimes it may not be visible, so you can still use a force command on top of it to force :true over there to activate the checkbox. For example, if you can go here, we have a checkbox. I remember clicking the checkbox, so it's a menu item, so it's also a type of checkbox. You can just go to click and apply the force, so that's all it is. And in your case it could be checkbox if you refer some other website where checkbox is there, and it works on the ghosted checkbox as well. So give it a try how it goes from your side. Now we understood that we don't need a thread.sleep or wait for time or whatever the framework that we've been using so far. In Playwright we can trust the auto wait, and also we have an option to force click it or force activate the button. With that, we get the zero flakiness. Now you have mastered a core 5 commands. Okay, you can easily rely on it, and it can eliminate the manual sleeps for you. And try this action commands on your own, or you can use Playwright's locator selection option. So if you can go here and you can use this tab, you can select the locator, select on it, and you can, let's say if you want to check the checkbox, it gives you the locator. You can copy this locator. Let's say if you wanted to click on it, you get the locator over there. So it gives you an option to select the locator for you. You can use this option to select the locator and build a complex like a structure, but for now we are still like kind of minimal, and it serves our purpose. Like we are not jumping into too deep, but yeah. So what comes next? We are going to see the assertions, like how do we assert the values. Like you have seen the title, how do you know if the title is matching with my requirement? So that's the assertion we are going to do. We are going to compare the result with what our requirement it says, what our document says. So we'll see how to do that in the next video. Until then, practice this locator strategy and the actions, whatever you have watched in the previous video as well as in this video. Continue the practice. I'll try to keep up this part, the part 4, as early as possible. So stay tuned, and let's catch up in the next one.